きましたね。
Most people have no clue that in 2023 the best way to make money on Amazon is not with
Bird while producing Hi Walter and only intended to create online intrigue with their video. Any similarities were coincidental. Reddit and Imgur got whipped up. Our first Reddit gets it wrong example resulted in a YouTuber getting harassed, law enforcement resources wasted, and the family of a missing girl given false hope. On October 11th of 2009, a YouTuber going by the name Patrick uploaded a video to his YouTube channel called Hi Walter, I Got a New Girlfriend Today. The video begins innocuously enough with Patrick addressing this unknown Walter individual, explaining that he met a girl at the mall today.
Hi, Walter. I was at the mall today, and guess what happened? I met the most wonderful girl. We went shopping at JCPenney's, and she tried on a lot of clothes. We decided to go and take a look at some of the jewelry at Kay Jewelers. She picked out this most awesome necklace, the most amazing necklace I've ever seen. And then we got kind of tired of the mall, and I brought her back to my place.
Kind of weird, but nothing crazy. That changes around the 30-second mark, and the video takes an extremely dark turn.
I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm going to show you around anyway. You ready?
Despite the shocking nature of this video, it went mostly unnoticed by the years of its existence. But that would change in the summer of 2016. Likely due to the moderation of YouTube's algorithm, High Walter slowly began to find itself in recommended videos. Interest in the video grew, and the disturbing footage was being discussed on forums like Reddit and Unforeseen Paranormal. Some believe that Patrick was actually an at-large serial killer / kidnapper, and he posted this video to fulfill some sadistic pleasure, bragging about his latest victim.
Concentrate fire on the target. Enemy battleship sunk. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention, reporting the target position. Enemy badly damaged. Enemy battleship foundered.
I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm gonna show you around anyway. You ready?
bottom dollar that Reddit's armchair detectives were already hot on the case, busting out their fedoras and magnifying glasses, examining every detail of the video to try to solve this mystery. Patrick's YouTube channel itself held few clues in regard to the identity of Patrick or the girl in the video. But after scouring through missing persons databases on the internet, Redditors found a possible match for the girl featured. They claimed that she was a missing 15-year-old girl from Antigua, Wisconsin named Kayla Bird. Kayla had gone missing years prior in August of 2009 after being dropped off by a friend in the neighboring town of Wausau, Wisconsin. Online sleuths had made this connection by way of circumstantial evidence presented in the High Walter video itself. The first observation was that the date of Kayla's disappearance and High Walter's upload date are curiously close in proximity, with only about 2 months separating the two incidents. Perhaps this video was Patrick's way of bragging about his recent catch. Reddit, accompanied by Imgur, brought some more chilling evidence to the table. When one simply compares side-by-side images of Kayla and the kidnapped girl in the High Walter video, the two certainly share a resemblance as far as hair color and their face. Some were even reporting that the kidnapped girl in the video was wearing the same clothes that Kayla was when she went missing. Another creepy discovery made by Redditors was that the two stores that Patrick mentions taking the girl in his video, JCPenney's and Kay Jewelers.
We went shopping at JCPenney's and take a look at some of the jewelry at Kay Jewelers.
Well, those stores happen to be present in the Wausau, Wisconsin mall, the town in which Kayla Bird went missing. A thread compiling all of this circumstantial evidence was published to Imgur and was widely shared around Reddit's investigative subreddits like Unsolved Mystery. And with this easy-to-reference Imgur guide, the High Walter Kayla Bird theory wound up going viral on the greater internet. And if you were around at the time, it really did feel like Reddit and Imgur had uncovered critical evidence that could lead to the arrest of an at-large criminal and the possible rescue of the kidnapped girl. The High Walter video was submitted to the Antigua, Wisconsin Police Department, which then promptly launched an investigation under suspicion of the video possibly being in connection to the disappearance of Kayla Bird. And this video was also shown to convinced that the girl was alive. Discovered by David that his real name is Michael, and he resided in El Salvador. His address and how long after it was his Michael, making Patrick again on the internet. So the account is linked to the perpetrator, and seeing this indication moments later being cracked, Reddit investigation disturbing, the content in this video is nothing crazier than we can find in your run-of-the-mill horror movie. I mean, what are we going to call it? John Carpenter's Psychopath recreating the Halloween series? I think the High Walter creators had the unfortunate position of being one of the first to have a real popular sort of horror hoax video go viral. Reddit's investigation not only led to false accusations being brought at the 50 Studios actors, but it also led to the family of the missing girl's hopes being gassed up for nothing. Like a lot of people, Kayla Berg's mother was convinced that the girl in the video was her missing daughter.
Someone would even think of doing something like this. Just for fun.
While these online amateur investigators certainly had good intentions, the High Walter case demonstrates the Reddit community's susceptibility to hoaxes and how their coordinated crime-solving efforts and reliability on circumstantial evidence can often lead to false allegations and slanderous claims being levied against people. 2150 Studios would never make content again together. Kayla Berg is still missing to this day. Our next Reddit Gets It Wrong example is probably the most lighthearted of today's stories, but that's not saying what considering it is over kids talking a daycare center and the owner of the small rats. On January 15th of 2015, a Redditor of the Salt Lake City, Utah subreddit would share an image of this odd-looking daycare center located in the city. This Redditor would go on to explain that despite the colorful exterior and signage advertising daycare services, they had not seen a child enter or leave the building once during the 5 years they had lived there. Curiously, other Salt Lake City Redditors took to the thread to explain they were familiar with the place and it also gave them an uncomfortable feeling. I once saw a picture from the 1983 Salt Lake City flood. The picture was of some kids standing across the street from this place. It looked exactly the same then. We live nearby, and my kids call it the scary house. In the 10 years I've lived in this neighborhood, I have never seen anyone come in or out of that place. Totally creepy. I call that the creepy pedophile daycare. It is silent, and the small windows are covered. It's just too brightly colored. It's definitely a creepy place. Users noted that all the windows of the daycare were obfuscated with blinds, and the building itself emanated an unusually dark aura. Folks in the thread felt like something was up with the kids' care wasn't a daycare at all, and in fact was some sort of money laundering scheme, a government operation, a meth lab, or at worst, a child trafficking ring. One Redditor says, if it's a government operation, they're doing a pretty poor job of flying under the radar. Sounds like the government, and we're all on a list now. Perhaps the obsession with fun-time kids care would have died out in the coming days, but an ominous comment left by user DeathShip ensured that wasn't going to be the case. I'm going to advise you guys to stop looking into this place. This ominous commenter's post history was promptly looked into and only served to embolden those who felt that fun-time kids care was a massive cover-up. Check his comment history. Linguist for the Air Force, been stationed at Area 51 and occasionally hangs out in the conspiracy theory subs, questionably discharged. Redditors were beginning to believe that they had uncovered something big and that this was the powers that be trying to scare them off. But no, these neckbeard detectives wouldn't be deterred. They went all in on trying to blow the lid off this apparent criminal operation. The Fun-Time Kids Care phone number was spammed in the coming days with calls. Nobody seemed to be getting through, but it became clear the daycare knew they were being looked into as their website was taken down not long after the call started. Some Redditors even claimed to have gone to the site in person and peeked into the windows to investigate the building after hours. One 4chan user provably did this, sharing photos of the inside of the building that they had snapped to the image board. And well, what they found on the inside was honestly unremarkable. Kind of looked like a daycare. Expecting to see something resembling Walter White's underground meth lab or a government numbers station, folks on the thread were slightly disappointed when nothing strange was found inside of the building. And then more bad news from the Reddit started trickling in. Other photos began to surface which showed kids playing at the daycare's playground, proving that children were in fact present at the facility during certain times of day. And with that, the sobering reality that they might have just harassed and spied on a legit daycare center, that started to set in for these Redditors. Dissenting voices that insisted the daycare was legit all along stopped looking like government ops spreading misinformation. They were the voices of reason the entire time. Turns out, when looking at Funtime Kids Care without being introduced to it via this ominous Reddit post, it's really not all that scary. It's just a daycare with weird windows and a wacky paint job. I mean, who are the real creeps here? The folks behind the weird-looking Dayglow-colored child care center? Or is it the guys from 4chan and Reddit that went to a place known for safeguarding children and peeked through the windows and took photos of them? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Reddit's obsession with this daycare actually had negative ramifications for the business, with the Google reviews being filled with trolls leaving bad reviews and defamatory claims regarding the daycare's safety. Additionally, according to a report by the Salt Lake City Globe, a supervisor at Salt Lake City's child care licensing department had stated that folks had attempted to break into the Funtime Kids Care building in the time since Reddit's obsession. This attempted break-in forced the owner to purchase additional security equipment such as a camera and deadbolt locks. While things have calmed down in recent years, I would imagine this whole ordeal was quite stressful for the daycare owner. According to public records, Funtime Kids Care has passed inspection and maintains child care licensure to this day. The daycare is completely safe and always has been. The original Reddit thread that hosted the investigation into this business has now been wiped clean. The barren thread, an embarrassing reminder of yet another of Reddit's destructive armchair investigations. Our final story is without a doubt the biggest online investigative blunder, not just in Reddit history, but in internet history. A truly tragic series of events that resulted in a missing young man being accused of a heinous crime and a grieving family heartbroken and harassed. This story begins in 2013 with Sunil Tripathi, a 22-year-old Indian-American graduate student studying at Rhode Island's Brown University. He was a bright young man with a promising future, but the unexpected happened on March 16th of 2013, when Sunil went missing under mysterious circumstances. The Tripathi family was left distraught by Sunil's disappearance. They had no real insight as to where he might be, why he left, or who could have taken him. Everything seemed pretty normal before he vanished. The family noted that Sunil did suffer from bouts of depression, but other than that, all was well with him. Sunil's mysterious disappearance made news in the local area, and the family would work closely with law enforcement in the hopes of finding him alive.
For a missing Ivy League student who vanished 2 weeks ago, some new surveillance video may offer some clues and help solve how this mysterious disappearance happened.
This grainy photo may be the only clue to finding missing Brown University student Sunil Tripathi. Police believe this new image from a surveillance camera shows the 22-year-old just moments after leaving his campus apartment. Police say he left behind his wallet and phone.
There's typically two reasons people don't take the normal things they take with them. It's because they're stepping outside to talk to somebody, they're going a half a block away, or they're not coming back.
This game, you're not ready for it.
You're in the middle of this.
The family also created a Facebook page dedicated to sourcing clues about his disappearance in the hopes that someone would come forward with information regarding his whereabouts. Fast forward about a month later to April 15th of 2013. At approximately 2:53 Eastern, 2 homemade pressure cooker bombs are detonated near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. 3 people are killed by the blast and 264 are injured. It was a cowardly attack, and as soon as the smoke cleared, the FBI began a thorough and meticulous investigation trying to track down the perpetrators. And this is where Reddit comes into play. Frustrated with the seemingly slow pace of the FBI's investigation, Redditors took this matter into their own hands. It was 100 evidence pertaining to the crime and decide possible suspects. Much of the activity of this division already learning the suspect, looking for any sort of suspicious intent. These predators, suspicious means anyone wearing a backpack or anyone looking for fame. Many possible perpetrators are identified, but no one sense of their that was until 3 days after the attack. Regulations advised that the FBI two suspects believed responsible for the loss of the FBI was pursuing a total of wrongly identified these individuals. Now with the established goal, the FBI publishes marked images of the suspects. Predators got to work scouring the internet for possible identities. And after some searching, somebody found one individual they were certain was suspect number 2 and wearing a white hat. According to Reddit, this person based on the evidence of zero uniforms. Now, after all, it wasn't geographically speaking, Rhode Island, and of course, there's a physical similarity. Some word was spread around the greater area that suspect number 2. The accusation was absolutely viral. Once Reddit actually engaged Bill's family, they were flabbergasted by the accusation, thinking an act like this was portrayed by they had to understand each man. The video was not shared, this was just a nasty misunderstanding. But Reddit doesn't have any users continue to harass the family associated with his name in this horrific crime. Even going as far as the findings missing. This page led to people getting contact information of the Tripathi family. Bill's sister claimed she answered close to 58 calls from anonymous detractors, almost all of which were accusing her brother of being responsible for the bombing. She just kept answering out of fear of missing a call from her brother. But in the minds of Redditors, all of this was justified. After all, their family members had been this critical to track the case. Online detectives proclaim. The only problem is that they in fact they as on April 19th, as the documents found in the law suspects legally did, the FBI was able to correctly identify the suspects as brothers. After the so-called or died by release I really hope this remains the last of its fucking records, man. This sort of collective vigilantism seems to be part of any day in sight. Hell, I'd say it's inherent to the greater internet as well. I reckon we'll just have to wait and see who screws up next. But that, my friends, were the times Reddit got involved. If you like this video, and if you have a spicy comment, please just drop it down below in the comments. Slap like, ring the bell, and also subscribe. Shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wait, you guys for bells.
Longest running, the constant style YouTube has to offer is the art of the prank videos that both exemplify quality entertainment and warm the hearts of millions since the days of Roman Apple. The talent they sent everyone to jail and enthusiasm. Thought you heard sarcasm in my voice just now, as you did. Don't really like these people, but that's not to dismiss their impact in a grander scheme. That for a brief period of time, these pranks were the ultimate form of content. The easiest way to generate the most views and in turn make the most money. While it may be hard to believe today, at one point on YouTube, millionaires were born from titles like these. I'm Joey Salads, and we're selling bricks in the hood. Yeah! Are you guys we're both selling the dough. In fact, the more sensitive a topic was, the more attention it was bound to receive, even when they turned out to be nothing more than staged, manufactured clickbaits. By 2017, enough pranksters had been exposed for faking their pranks that viewers became skeptical of the genre altogether, diminishing trust between fan and creator, which meant that if you wanted to go viral, you needed to capitalize on the most insane, jaw-dropping concepts you could think of. And that's exactly the direction many creators took, knowing the authenticity of the prank didn't matter so much, just as long as the title and thumbnail contained enough shock value to achieve instant virality. It's how we ended up with Prank Invasion making out with so many scantily clad women in public. Dress up as someone homeless and try to get kisses. The shock value needed to overshadow the fakeness. But sadly, not everything depicted in these videos was fake. Some creators went so far as to take advantage of the public's preconceived notion of fake prank videos in order to monetize the most sadistic behavior imaginable, exploiting genuine reactions of distress and carrying out the most twisted of desires until YouTube themselves were finally forced to act. Not before going down in history as some of the cruelest individuals on the entire platform. This is the story of KaiGariOu.
Right now, we are under severe attack by all kinds of media. Everyone is following the media.
I don't know us in real life. At the end of the day, guys, we're parents
My
first.
kids come first. My family comes first.
Before we get into the serious stuff, I'd like to go ahead and thank today's sponsor, established titles. Established titles is an easy way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland by helping environmental restoration efforts across the globe. A project based on historic Scottish customs, established titles offer unique title packs that give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland. This official certificate making you a real lord or lady. Get it on your credit card and plane tickets, etc. You can even get it on your dating profiles. Working alongside global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, Established Titles also plants a tree for every order. It makes a great gift for anyone who wants to do some good for the planet and enjoys the novelty of calling themselves an official laird. Not to mention how the first 200 people who purchase a title pack with my link will own their land within walking distance of my plots. Click the link in the description box down below or visit establishedtitles.com/jobry and use code JOBRY for 10% off your order today. It makes a great last minute gift and it helps the planet too. Huge thanks again to the wonderful people over at Established Titles for helping out and making this one possible.
Are your parents abusive? What inspired you to do YouTube?
My kids inspired me to do YouTube. They all want a YouTube channel, so I made a YouTube channel.
If you had a pulse in 2017, there's a good chance you're already familiar with the KaiGariOu 5 situation. A family channel with 150 million views and a sub count in the 6 figures that was rightfully terminated after accusations of parents Mike and Heather Martin abusing their 5 children under the guise of fake prank videos. An international story that culminated with criminal charges and 2 of their 5 kids being removed from the home. What you may not know, however, is that the ringleader of this entire disaster is still on YouTube, with a pretty decent sub count and a modest but consistent viewership to his name. In short, KaiGariOu 5 never left. Born on December 17th, 1982, Mike Martin experienced a rocky adolescence. Growing up in Baltimore City, he was in and out of institutions all throughout middle and high school, before fully dropping out in the 10th grade, according to his second wife. But even before that, when Mike was only a few years old, his adopted mother, Audrey Martin, married a man named Chris Britt, giving him and his sister a stepbrother by the name of James, who later testified in an interview that growing up, he and Mike were inseparable, describing Mike as a creative child, having a passion for drawing and making up games to play with his stepbrother. According to James, Mike was always going to be in the limelight, just maybe not the way anyone had hoped.
I will not argue 25 times.
Much of the cruel disciplinary tactics that were later used by Mike on his children were first used on him by Audrey, who was described as an aggressive sort of person who didn't think stuff ever came to punishment, making Mike write sentences over and over when he stepped out of line, exactly what he made his kids do on camera 30 years later. Not just as a punishment for them, but also for the sick entertainment of his deranged fans. Let's pace ourselves. I want to take time to fully understand the type of people we're dealing with here and chart approximately where things started to go wrong. According to the same interview James had with journalist Nick Monroe, James emphasized the difficulty Mike had in coping with personal issues, always being quick to blame others for his own wrongdoings, unable to take accountability himself. As reported by Monroe, if the school system wasn't failing him, it was the teachers or the students for something as minute as being too loud. But one of the biggest tragedies of Mike's childhood came when Audrey passed of an aneurysm in her mid-30s. This took a massive toll on Mike, who was still very young at the time, struggling to cope with her loss as his stepfather Chris was driven to sell the house and send Mike away to live with grandparents. Meanwhile, his sister Courtney went to go stay with relatives. Mike was fully isolated, away from Courtney and his stepbrother James, who did attempt to reconnect with Mike later in life, but was met with contempt, refusing to speak with James and his wife Laura for unknown reasons. Much of Mike's life past this point is fairly unknown, as James didn't see or hear from him again, that is until he spotted his kids watching a YouTube video decades down the road.
I think that is probably are not the right
This is just the world's reaction to seeing children in distress, little defenseless children.
Now, the specific video that ends up getting brought to attention when they first started getting the backlash was actually probably on the lesser scale of how messed up some of my videos are.
Children being handled emotionally and physically in a way that shocked the world. You can't be surprised that the world would have an adverse reaction.
Mike and Heather Martin had garnered quite the reputation by early 2017. Their content fully spilling out into the mainstream zeitgeist after being amplified by some of the loudest voices on the internet at the time. Capture your reaction on camera for an epic
きましたね。